Hi everyone. Today we are running another episode of CEO Night, but this is a special one dedicated to women. You know, there are many events now happening dedicated to women because of the International Women's Day and also because of the growing role of women in the global economy. Their increasing role in political and social life. So we are in the same trend. We invited great women today to speak about their careers, also about their personal life, about their professional journey. Please welcome our speakers, Anya Degtyaryova, Nina Levchuk, and Hanna Shuvalova. Welcome, ladies, to our today's talk. We'll spend around 1 hour together. I'll be moderating the event and asking you questions. Some of the questions will be to all of you, and you will volunteer who answer them. But some of the questions I prepared particularly to some of you, knowing just a little bit about your professional journey. So I'm starting with a general one dedicated to the start of your journey. It is often said that leaders are not born, and they are rather raised, and their upbringing starts in the family, with the family narrative. So can you share with us how your parents nurtured your character, your leadership, how they helped and perceived your future leadership role, your plans, your dreams, your endeavors?
Thank you, Tatiana. First of all, thank you for having me today here. I'm happy to join you tonight. And speaking about my upbringing, I must say that I'm coming from a privileged background. And in my case, I think what helped me throughout my career was that my parents never tried to restrict my ambition. And when I wanted to do something, when they encouraged my curiosity and encouraged my passion for learning new things, and this helped a lot. So I think that they helped me to develop those values and those guidelines that I still use in my life. That help me to achieve my goals.
Thank you. Nina, can you please continue?
Yeah, absolutely. This first of all, this is absolutely amazing question. And background of my family, I would say next. From one side, I have absolutely amazing role model. That was my mother. She's an entrepreneur. She is now almost around 60 and still like leading her business and giving me everyday motivation and inspiration. You know how to do it, how not to do actually things in the life. So definitely observing her and her career journey, it was always helpful to decide, okay, where I want to start my own entrepreneurial journey, or maybe find myself within the big corporate world. And so that's the first part. The second part, I think I was, as my mom was super busy all her life, building the business and running the teams. I was growing up with my grandparents, right, and spent a lot of time with them. And my grandfather was a Soviet Union pilot who get raised to the first, it's called the Tu-154 plane. So he was kind of famous during those time, and he was always hoping to have actually a boy in the family. So only girls was in the family. And so when my mom got pregnant, he was like, finally, that would be a boy. And then I appeared in this world, So he said, okay, well, then we will really making sure that you are tough. But thanks God, I have my grandma who had a bit different perspective. So so my grandfather brought to me a toughness or ability to survive and be competitive. But my grandma shaped my character in the way to still be feminine and do the healthy stuff for your well-being and really, be kind and have a kind heart. So I think this combination, and thanks God, I had two of them, really helps a lot. And then, the inspiration from my mom that always saying never give up. up, like really try everything what is coming on your way, even if you're not sure. And if you fail, we're always next to you to support you and give you a hand. And I think probably that's definitely helped a lot in shaping where I am now and who I am now.
Thank you. Anya, to you.
Okay, first of all, hello everyone. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. My story is very simple, and I'm from very poor family, and my mom, she's super pessimistic person. Her like vision always was like everything will be like bad. Don't believe in something good. Be ready that I don't know if you dream about something, this dream never come through. So, but thanks to my mom, we had a very big library in our home, and I read a lot, and I study a lot. I working hard, and I have like a big dream, be part of big company, and in one day live this like how to say all this community, all this society, and dream and live in another place. And my mom, like her like big dream was that I will be accountant. And honestly, when I thought about this, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so horrible. Me, accountant, this is like nightmare. And I said, no, 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 no. So after university, I bought a ticket and I go to Kiev. And in Kiev, I started my career. And I think maybe if my mom will be like super positive and super like optimistic people, maybe I still will be in Dnipropetrovsk. But my mom somehow pushed me to be more positive, more achiever, and I don't know, super optimist people. So simple like that.
I see. And how is it now? How your family, your current family, I mean, maybe you have kids and husband, maybe still your parents, how do they support you now? Do you feel their support in your endeavors? Well, all of you have very special achievements, so I guess family is playing an important role in that.
I'd say that my family, my parents and my younger brother still play an important role in supporting me throughout my career. Though it's funny, but my parents still, until recently, my parents didn't understand what I'm doing because since I started investing in tech startups, they kept asking me like, so what exactly are you doing to earn a living? And I had a hard time explaining them what I was doing and still what I am doing when I launched the venture studio. But their support is fundamental to my success, and especially it goes special thanks go to my brother who inspires me a lot. He is a veteran. He volunteered for the military when the war in the East started. And for me, he is an example of courage and grit and perseverance, which I really want to follow. And his support and support of my parents is paramount. So without them, I don't know where I would be now. So I'm still trying to explain them what I'm doing, but hopefully they will look see this interview and get a better sense of that.
That's a great, yeah, that's a great story. I think, like, similar to Hannah, I would say my parents and my family never was like shaping like direction of my decisions where to go, or which business to start, or which company to join. And to be honest, the business area where I'm working is very far from what they get used in their life background, or like in my mom case, in her business background, right? So she's more kind of traditional entrepreneur, and obviously all VC and startup world is kind of far from yours. So, but definitely, like, they have just this belief, right? And so it's still with them, right? So I could say definitely they are great supporters. The only worry as a parent, right, that I'm working too much, I would say, but that's a normal, I guess, situation. But in terms of like current family, like my fiance, so he's like a founder himself. So I'm not only working within the tech area, but I'm living with the tech area at my home. So obviously, observing him every day, how he's building and developing his business. He's working in fintech area. That's super fun, and that's what keeps me motivated. And sometimes inspires me about to think about maybe that's the time actually to go and found something myself as well with all my knowledge and etc. And he is always like, yeah, if you feel that that's the right moment, go and do it. I will be next to you. And so that's actually great to have, to be surrounded by such a great friends, family, and of course people at home who could support you with all your crazy ideas.
Great.
I love this question. Actually, when I started my career, I worked in a big company. And after 3 years, I decided that I'm ready to be entrepreneur. And I announced to my mom, to my family, guys, you know, I decided to be entrepreneur and launch my business, my company. And my mom, as usual, like, oh my gosh, Anichka, what is this silly, stupid idea? Please, 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 don't do this. It's really bad idea. Better back to this company. Said that you was like wrong and, and back to this company and to your team. And I said, no, mom, I have to try. And if you ask my mom, as Hannah said, my mom still doesn't know what I am doing and what is my work. She's maybe just guessing how it can be and what am I doing, but I'm 100% sure that she doesn't know, and it will be like a little bit complicated to explain. But my husband, he is amazing. He supports me every time in any my adventure, any crazy idea. He said, yes, do this. It's great. I believe that everything will be good. And it's great that my husband, my big supporter and my admirer, and he inspired me to. And my daughter, I have 14 years daughter. She always also with me. She's my team. She's crazy as me too. So we have a good team, and together we can like implement any ideas.
Yeah, this is great, and I expect, even though I didn't know your personal side, I expected something like this, because I cannot imagine, you know, having a grumpy husband at home saying, why are you late tonight, right? So it should be a story like this. And that brings us to our next discussion. Is there a balance between work and life? And is there a line there? Or do you need to have a line there? Or what's that work and life balance for you?
This is kind of a fundamental question. I think that every woman gets at some point when she moves to the leadership position. And I used to say no to this question, and I didn't believe in the work-life balance at all, but I do now. I try to devote some time during the day just for myself, because I realized that mental health is equally important to your physical health, and without caring about yourself, about your inner state of mind, it's impossible to be productive. That's why I usually save several hours in the morning just to meditate, to go to the gym, to meet some interesting people for breakfast, and this is what energizes me and helps me to move forward. But still, like, talking about work-life balance is impossible without talking about support from your family, from your friends, and from your coworkers.
Yeah, right, right. I actually do the same. I dedicate early hours for myself. Also because we are a US company and we have many colleagues working late at night, and they even sometimes say, oh guys, you work so late. And we say, well, probably because you are getting up too early, just for us, you know, to think and to work together longer. So yeah, everybody's finding their balance. Nina, what's your balance?
Yeah, I would say definitely work-life balance has a different meaning for different people, right? And it's all about your personal boundaries, and it's all about like at which stage of life you are. I mean, I would say if you asked me this question 10 years ago, I could work nonstop almost and be so inspired and like energized by my work that I would say what you're speaking about. I love my work and love what I'm doing. I have additional 5 projects like supporting women, mentoring, coaching, speaking, and I like was really on the fire, right, enjoying all of that, and didn't feel that I could burn out, etc. But then I actually had in my life already one major burnout time period that was awful, and I not recommend anyone ever to face it, but it is happening with actually many people, not only women but men as well, like in the leadership role, and even on the way to the leadership role. The most important is just to be able to read your body, right? And to understand is like, okay, where's my personal boundaries? If I will push myself too hard, I probably won't be able to finish this job or be efficient within this role or be productive, etc. And then it's about asking inner yourself, what is your values, right? So I think the work-life balance is building from the moment when you really understand what is your values in your life. If you value family, kids, you have a kid, you have a loved one, you want to spend time with them, probably if the job will take all your work, you wouldn't be happy, right? And unhappy people not building great business. So I think through the like growing as a woman, as a leader, and as a personality, I definitely change in my life a lot. What is my key values and why it's important right now? But I would say I never putting myself as well as standards, right? That okay, that's actually how it should be because everyone's speaking that in the morning you should do 20 minutes motivation and this motivation meditation and this was going to help to you and there is no other way. No, I'm just trying to listen myself and see. Some days I could work like crazy still till 11 p.m. and then wake up 6 a.m., and some days I could take day off, due to my flexible work at Google as well, and just give it to myself, enjoy myself, like really doing something good for my body, for my soul, etc. And yeah, and like overall, I would say for if we're speaking about women leadership, we are facing way more challenges in our life in terms how to optimize the work-life balance because we need to make a choice between, okay, is it a time to become a mother? Okay, you have a kid, you want to still develop your business, like how to organize your workspace. Do you have a right supports next to you, right? The family or husband or etc. who could help you, or maybe you're a single mom, etc. So I think all those factors are really influencing, and I truly believe it's about just listening yourself and find what is the best for your body, not to survive, but actually live and enjoy the life.
Anya?
Yes, I absolutely agree with Nina. It's a good answer. Uh, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was like unstoppable machine. I was crazy. I fly from one city to another city. I woke up and try to understand where I am, what is the time zone. And every day it was like this. And my daughter, honestly, when she was a young little girl, I didn't like spend with her lots of time. And now when she's like 13, 14 years old, I try to spend more time with her right now. And she said, Mom, do you need to check your mailbox or not? And now I realize, I understand that I missed this time and it was my fault. And I try to reschedule right now everything, reorganize, because 10 years ago I thought, oh my gosh, if I will not do this, everything will be like destroyed, like 100%, absolutely. And now I know everything will be good. I just manage my schedule. I decide what will be better for my family, for me. Now I choose books what I want to read, not for my business, but for me, for Anya, because all my books before, all my knowledge, all even my movies, everything was only for business, not for me. And then I ask myself, okay, where is time for myself? Where is me in this picture? It's no me at all. Everything for business, for my career, for money, for my team, for management processes, and no me at all. I right now, when I realize it, I reschedule everything, I change everything, and I see that I can find time for my family, for my husband, for my parents, for my daughter, for me, for my exercises, for my walk, for my travel, for my books, and also for my work. So I think it's not easy when you at the beginning, especially when you just launch your company or business, because you always like in this uncertainty, and it's lots of things that you have to do. But then when like your company somehow like little by little like moving, you can find time, and you must to find this time for yourself, because it's impossible to live in this like hard and high velocity rhythm every time. So it's crucial to find this lifestyle balance.
Right, thank you. The next question is actually addressed to Hannah.
Okay.
We know that recently you graduated from Stanford University, and there's a story behind that. So tell us the story behind that, please. How and why did you choose it? Why that particular institution? And what is the current state of graduate education now? What's the overlook? Can you share that with us?
Mm-hmm. The story behind my Stanford journey started actually very accidentally. During my trip to Bolivia, I was about to climb a 6,000 meters mountain together with a group of Ukrainian entrepreneurs, and it was a hard walk, which took us about 8 hours, or maybe even more. So we had plenty of time to think about our life and to think through what we want to do further. At least this is what I dedicated my time to. So by the time when I got to the top, I had this idea that I really want to try living abroad, because I was based in Ukraine all the time. Also, since I was engaged with the Ukrainian startup ecosystem, and I wanted to support Ukrainian startups more. I thought that an important ingredient would be to learn how the well-developed ecosystem works. So where you can possibly learn it, of course, in Silicon Valley. That's why I decided that I'm definitely going to Silicon Valley. I'm definitely going to live in the States for some time, but I kind of wanted to shape this idea further and spend this time in the most efficient way. So getting a graduate education seemed to be a great idea. Of course, as any aspiring venture capitalist or entrepreneur, I heard about Stanford. I wanted to get into this particular school. I applied to several schools, and I was lucky enough to get to GSB, Graduate School of Business at Stanford, for a one-year master's program. So I spent there, I'm a graduate class 2020, so the time I spent there was challenging, of course, not only intellectually, but also emotionally, mostly because of the COVID, because it disrupted the educational process. We had to learn how to work online. We got isolated on campus, and we didn't have an opportunity to extract the most of this educational program, because business school is not about academics, it's more about networking, and of course we didn't get it during the spring quarter, but still I can say that it was the best year of my life. I made a lot of friends, I learned a lot, and I got a vision for my future this year, and the amazing people that surrounded me at Stanford inspired me to start a new business, which I'm launching now.
Great, this is a great story. Thank you. And can you please also share how the Stanford how Stanford approached this pandemic situation? How did you study? How did you manage to network with your with other students? How did it all go? You still say that it's the best time of your life.
Yes, of course. Well, it was. Challenging, as I mentioned, because at first, of course, the lockdown rules in the US are very different from what we can see here in Ukraine. So if it's lockdown, nobody goes out, and all the classes moved online. Stanford managed to adapt rather quickly, but of course, the classes became less engaging, some classes became less engaging because you just can't create this same atmosphere online when the class demands active participation from the students and the professor acts rather as a the moderator of the discussion than a lecturer. So this was a problem, but based on what I heard from the students who came to school in autumn, it's much better now. So when it comes to networking, well, first it was very awkward to network online, but then everyone understood that it's actually much easier to reach out to people because when you don't have to schedule in-person meetings, and this gave us an opportunity to talk, to get direct one-on-one conversations with partners from established venture capital funds from the Valley, which would usually come to speak to us in class and would not take so many questions from the audience, but with this opportunity, they just gave us their phone numbers or emails, and we just reached out. So in many cases, it became even easier. But of course, I really missed in-person conversations with people, and Stanford is famous for its on-campus parties. So this was definitely a downside.
Thank you for sharing. Also, the next question would be to Nina about Femtech Academy. You started it less than 2 years ago, right? With a very ambitious mission to educate 10 million women in 5 years, right? Which will definitely, which will definitely boost female entrepreneurship globally. Can you tell us about the academy, about some famous tutors and lecturers that you have there, and about your plans?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a small pre-story. So actually, around 5 years ago, I've built first Women Digital Academy by Google. And this program has run 4 seasons about how to business online with most famous CIS entrepreneurs. So if you think about someone in Ukraine, probably they were in our academy. If they are famous for entrepreneurship or for marketing or for leadership, they all were speakers. And this was initiative supported by Google, right? And I was as a founder, right, within the corporate for that initiative. And of course, worked with absolutely talented people in Google. And I had Khalid, who is actually head of PR for Google, and had amazing team of girls for Google who were supporting and leading different parts of the project. And within the 4 years, not around, actually, I think it's even more now, but by that time it was more than 50,000 females who actually took this course, and they were sending me real cases of how they learned their business, what it actually gave to them, etc. So first 3 seasons was run specifically on the business side, and the 4th season we made in collaboration with Cosmopolitan magazine to boost a bit awareness, right? And I've launched with them kind of marathon that was called 30 Stories of Success, and so females were posting what they have launched and why they're proud about themselves and what they are remarkable for. And Cosmopolitan was picking up this hashtag and then writing weekly the article about one of those women. And it was super cool as well to boost awareness on the program because it was completely free, etc. And then when I moved and take the leadership role job in Google Germany, right, as a startup and VC lead, I actually not like was forced, but it was end of the story within the Ukraine market and doing this project because the focus was a CE. And I was first thinking maybe to do similar with within the Germany. But then like looking around, and see how many things already exist, I decided that it would be actually better and will have even more impact if I will found a couple female founders together with me, or male as well. So it's like, we have very diverse group of ambassadors who supporting our academy, and take the similar approach, right? Inviting the famous entrepreneurs, etc., etc. And then COVID happened, right? So you would say, what could be better? Because we were running only online, and that could be amazing boost. But we started to look around how many online education started to happen at the same time, and how busy and overwhelmed people actually become. And we did a step back. We took a pause for like 6 months, and now we completely relaunch Femtech. Now it's actually community. It's called Femtech Club, and it's about helping women to find single-minded people, right? Maybe to launch something together. As well, it's still online education, so how basically to do business online. But the new format that we just launched recently in collaboration with Vita, actually community, that is one of the biggest community in Ukraine for businesswomen run by Vika Tigivka. We starting the pitch rooms. So it's basically, and we had our first pitch room yesterday, the Clubhouse, the new platform that has become super popular everywhere, where everyone could come and practice to the real VCs. So yesterday we have Victoria from Tia Ventures. We have Yannicka Nissen. She is manager partner of Capital T, and as well Woman of the Year by the Harper Bazaar. Super powerful lady. She's within like top 100 top VC female investors worldwide. And then we have as well partner for Capnamic. So this is German-based fund. And imagine 200-300 girls were joining and pitching live the idea for 1 minute. Of course, it was a bit awkward for many of them, but it was so great. And actually one girl yesterday closed the deal during the Clubhouse talk. So, and that was like example when I feel, okay, we're going to the right direction. We should move just from online education to actually building community, found cool accelerators, partners, other communities, because I always believe in sharing is caring. It's not about just be the only one. It's about finding right people, and do more formats like that, where actually entrepreneurs could engage with investors, could potentially find the right founders or right resources, what they need. It's not only about finding co-founder, but it's about finding PR, marketing, tech, etc. And at the same time boost their, of course, entrepreneurial skills by getting basic understanding how the business model looks, how to prepare your pitch, how to make the first steps, how to do financing, etc., etc., etc. So that's where's the goal, right? And my big idea, if this community will grow as we plan with my other two co-founders, and they're as well very motivated ladies in German ecosystem, to be able then to do maybe some donation platform where all those money will go to the emerging markets like Africa, etc., and those money will be given to small girls, or young girls for their education. But it's I would say very, very far from what we are doing now, but this is where I would say this all initiatives could go, not just giving, but receiving some small appreciation. If you have at least 100,000 people on your platform and one person will donate €1, it already could help 20 African girls maybe to get the first education in their life and not to be put as a slave, etc. So that's kind of the big dreams, but we'll see. Dreams have the tension to come true, so I hope that would be our case as well.
Thank you. Anya, and Link Up conference, right? You started that last January. Did you plan to have it as an online project from the very beginning, or you had to switch quickly to make it, an online event? And how is going now? What are the details of the current state of things?
Yeah, it's my number one question. Thank you so much, Tatiana. So, the main idea of Link Up Conference Show at the beginning. So I came up with this idea in December 2020, and I thought, we have lots of events for entrepreneur, TechCrunch, Collision, what else? Web Summit. It's a lot, but all of these events, if we talk about content, it's good. But if we talk about networking, maybe it's not so good. And it's always time conflict between what I have to choose. Panel discussion on go and make my networking. And also, if we talk about content, it's always a little bit complicated because we see on the stage two super smart and intelligent person, and the language that this person uses, it's like some kind of bird's language, because we know everything, but in general we don't understand what these people discuss, because it's like the terminology, everything like a little bit complicated. And I thought, what if, for example, we marry tech conference and comedy, because comedy can simplify everything and can help absorb terabyte of information, and it helps like people in generally understand what this guy is talking about, because some guys try to explain what about their technology, how we can use this technology, and no one understand anything. And I thought, if someone from like comedy, like comedian or improviser, help to translate it to people's language, it will be awesome. So it was my idea at the beginning, marry comedy and tech. And then COVID changed my plans. And okay, thank you so much, COVID, for this, because I thought, okay, I'm ready for this challenge. So if you think that I can give up so easily, no. So I started to talk with these comedy clubs, and I said, okay, guys, you see, I have amazing idea, marry tech and comedy. And this guy said, you see this line, you see these people, all these people in New York City dream to receive a table in our comedy club and watch the show. We don't need your like conference or what you create. So don't don't bother us with this stupid idea. And after COVID, I knock again in this door and say, okay, guys, I don't see line anymore. Maybe you are ready right now. Discuss with me your like my idea and your collaboration and our partnership on this crazy project. And they said, okay, let's talk. So it was idea when comedians and improvisers participate in the show and interview speakers, honorable guests, but also these improvisers help people make networking, because networking online, as Hannah said, it's like crazy, it's really difficult. And I thought, okay, if for example improviser will meet these people and start this conversation and help them to start this negotiation process, it will be much easier, because when we use jokes, it's always sparkling, interesting, with sense of humor, and people can like jump to this communication easily. Of course, some people still think that I am crazy, but believe me, I found partners and we realized this project. We invited huge people as Tim Draper to join us and be our guest. And can you imagine? I never saw Tim Draper so like smiling and so active and a Link Up conference show, because MC, like our host, was like two amazing improvisers, like the best improvisers ever. And it was lots of jokes, and it was question not only about investment, but it also was question like, okay, tell us, do you watch Netflix? What is your favorite show? So it was interesting to like receive some personal information, and even Tim said, yes, actually, yeah, I watch Netflix too. I can't believe, but yes. So it was good show, and as I said, it was for me in March realized that it's COVID, and I like told myself maybe I have to wait, and said, no, Anya, you don't have to wait, because this situation, and people say, okay, maybe it will change, I don't know, in August, maybe in September. No, it will not change. You just need to like do something immediately right now. And we organize this conference online format, it was really hard, and it was like full of uncertainty and fear, and I was nervous, and all my team was like crazy. But at the end, it's a happy end story. It was a great show, good networking session, new format, and I can say that it was successful. If you ask me what is now for this year 2021, we still have quarantine, it's true. We still cannot provide offline events, it's also true. But now we have Clubhouse, and Clubhouse, I think it's a big destroyer, and Clubhouse destroyed like conference market, totally, conference industry. I think it's great because we can see this trend right now. And honestly, I don't believe in, at least in this year, new like business model for conference market, because maybe if it will be about networking, I would say maybe. But if we talk about content and about pure conference market, no, Clubhouse number one, and we have to say like amen for all these conferences that we saw before. So because we can say that this conference market like doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, that's yeah,
Sorry.
that's a serious opinion. Okay, I'll make a small announcement now to the audience that is watching and listening to us online. Please write your questions to our speakers, and I'll read them after I ask the questions that I have on my agenda. So switching to my next question to all of you, we're talking about female in technologies, right? How did you get to technologies? What was your path to technologies? And what's your relation with technologies?
Oh, it's me again with my bumpy road and roller coaster to getting into tech. Well, I'm a humanities graduate, so this is the beginning of the story. I have my first degree in Greek language and literature, and I got in technology by chance. And, this happened after I spent several years working in investments, where I also got by chance, only because I'm very curious, and usually I don't believe that something is unachievable, even when all the odds are against you. So this was my case when I got into finance. And before getting into tech, my job was, I worked as an investment analyst for a solar energy company. Most of the assets of our company were located in Crimea. So in 2014, you know the story. Unfortunately, Ukraine lost Crimea, and my company lost its business. So I had to decide what to do next. And one of my friends, he just got a job into an exciting, small at that time startup called Genesis. So he asked me if I would like to consider an opening position at the CEO's on the CEO's team. So I thought that like crisis is the best time to risk. That's why I decided to take it. And so I joined Genesis as a manager responsible for fundraising, business development, and partnerships. I spent with the company 3 years, learned a ton, started to understand the role the technology is playing now and will play in the future for our society. So I decided that I can kind of combine my expertise both in finance and tech and become a VC investor. That's why, and this is what I'm doing till now. So I invested in startups, I worked in startups, and now I'm creating a platform for launching startups around machine learning technology. We want to provide a launchpad for ambitious entrepreneurs, mostly tech founders who want to meet their business partners, and we try to create an ecosystem for them to help them to bring their ideas to life.
Thank you. Nina, to you, your journey.
Yeah, yeah, well, where to start, right?
Where
So
to start?
I would say with Google, I'm already 8 years, right? So I would never think that I would work in this company for so long. But before Google, I had as well kind of long journey to well, right? So it's around 7 years in the consulting and FMCG marketing traditional business. I work for such company like Unilever, SC Johnson as a group brand manager, etc. Right? So, and I was working in a different part of the world, I would say. Um, and I remember myself when I was working in Moscow for SC Johnson and was basically running the branding for a couple of brands in the CIS. I realized that okay, digital things are starting to boom, right? And there is completely within the marketeers no knowledge about that, how to do it properly. And so I thought very similar, like Hannah was saying. I was thinking, okay, what would be the best play in order to learn digital marketing and overall understand how the great by that time, like startup that was so far from my reality, actually doing their marketing campaign using online tools, etc. And obvious answer was San Francisco. So this is where I went. I studied Harvard International Business School. I got the completely free education from them because I applied to a couple of grants. To be honest, I like for me it was just an opportunity. I wasn't crazy about to get a study because it would be already my like a third master, but I was about like get to the to the Silicon Valley, understand how it works, and try to work for a couple of startups and not paying money, crazy money for education, as a lot of my friends who graduate business programs from Harvard or Stanford, etc., getting the loans and then paying those loans for a couple of years afterwards. So that was for me was like super quick win. I would say like I got 2 grants and everything was fully covered. But still, when you're saying fully covered in terms of education, you still need to cover your apartment that is crazy in San Francisco. Like, you're living almost like a kitchen, like size, the whole apartment like a kitchen size, and you're paying 3,000 euro just because it has a bridge view. So that was completely insane time for me, and big switch from very good salary and FMCG and going and trying to understand and find myself. And I, from already kind of very senior role, get there, get my study, and start to work as a digital manager in the platform that's called liquor.com. This is basically the platform that is provide content about how to make cocktails, but doing amazing. I know this could sound so super fun, but this is actually a big platform. So people thinking about in the evening how to make a cocktail, they coming, and all the alcohol advertising is restricted. So of course, where they're going to this platform and they see the receipts, and then within the video that is shooted in the one of the best bars in New York and San Francisco, etc. Content was top notch. See the of course advertisement placement. So this is how this business was monetized. I was, I think, employee number 5. Right now they have 100 people working for them, and it was super fun because when you employee number 5 doing digital marketing for them, you're doing everything. You're doing product management, you're doing marketing, you're doing shooting, you're trying cocktails, you're basically doing everything by yourself. And it was super fun time. And then when I was almost in the end of my education, Apple and Google came to me, and McKinsey. So I have 3 offers in the end. And I was thinking, okay, consulting would be exciting, but I've worked a bit already with BCG, so I know the story. Apple, the offering that they have wasn't kind of part of my passion. But Google actually sounds pretty sexy, and I thought, okay, why not, right? This is a lot of people dream to work there, so it's worth to try. And plus, it was relocation to Europe. And I was basically one of the first employee within the advertising team in Google who was serving Google Ukraine, right? So clients, SMB, small medium-sized business in Ukraine, right? And that was super fun. So to join them, and then 8 years evolved to the direction where I saw the need that Google need to innovate in terms of how they serving small medium-sized business and connecting as well to the popular wave of the startups and working with investors. So I started when I was still part of the CE group and built one of the program right within the Google that was supporting the startups that have export potential, so grow internationally. And after my job, basically, I was invited already to Germany to build a proper startup and VC team within the Google that is helping to scout unicorns in the ecosystem and connect them to the VC business partners. And that's basically what my day-to-day work looks right now. I'm working from one side with all top VC partners, where I'm helping them with the investment decision by providing data solution that Google could support with. And from another side, my team is scouting startups who would have a exponential growth potential. And if they already have investors, then we're working together by building their digital journey. And if not, we're connecting them to the VC partners within our circle. So that's kind of the journey, and it's still just the beginning of the journey, because I still have a lot of different dreams what could do within the tech area. So ask me in 10 years. I would say that question.
Lots of energy in what you're saying and your approach to life. I love it. Anya, can you now tell your story?
Yes, so I started my first company in 2006, and it wasn't about technology at all. It was a big competition for top managers called Global Management Challenge. And then we worked with big Ukrainian companies with top managers. Then we started work with the students, and every year in our project participated like 15,000 students. And then I think, okay, we work with top managers, we work with the students. What about entrepreneurs? Maybe we need to do something for them. And I launched my project Innovation Breakthrough in 2009. And it was a simple project for entrepreneurs. And we invited mentors and experts to help them. And the main goal was bring the best team to the US, to Silicon Valley Bay Area, and show them how this ecosystem works. And we chose one team, and we brought this team to Bay Area, and it was it was our fail. It was so unsuccessful, and it was so bad because this team didn't know how to pitch, how to build relationship with investors, how to present, how to communicate, anything about vision, anything about growth strategy, zero information about vision. So it was failed, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is a shame what I have to do after this. So I decided that maybe I need to build something, some ecosystem or some kind of hub or platform for entrepreneurs to understand how to build company, how to manage all these processes, how to communicate, how to build a growth strategy. And I decided, yes, it can be accelerator. And so I saw absolutely clear this idea and this vision, but it was two small things. So first, I didn't speak English at all. And second, I didn't have money. So, but as usual, I was full of enthusiasm and full of energy. I'm always unstoppable. So I found investor. I raised $2 million, and I think, okay, done. I have money, but I don't have any idea how to build accelerator. And I think, okay, but I know who knows. So if I go to Bay Area, I can find people who can help me and explain to me how it works. I know that I don't speak English, but I can find someone who can help me and translate, and somehow I can collaborate with these people. So I bought a ticket to the first conference. I just I don't know, find first conference in Stanford. And I think, okay, at Stanford, I believe I can find these people who can help me. So it was the beginning of Happy Farm Business Accelerator. I learned this accelerator in 2012. I didn't have any knowledge in tech area. I didn't, as I said, it was absolutely new market for me. But my main idea was that I believe that I'm a great organizer and I can organize everything. I can build company, I can build processes, I can find right people, mentors, experts, great, how to say, great entrepreneurs with experience, and these people can help me. So I started my first step in 2012. If you ask me, did I regret? Yes. Did I don't know, was absolutely unhappy? Was I absolutely unhappy? I would say yes, I was unhappy every day. I felt myself so stupid and so silly and so miserable also every day. So it was a huge challenge. And sometimes I think that I built this accelerator, first of all, but for myself to accelerate me and change my life. And then after that, to these people. And it was, as I said, it was very difficult. And we was the first, so in Ukraine in 2012, it was Peace Labs and Happy Farm. We started this ecosystem in Ukraine. And I still remember our first working visit in San Francisco when my goal as a CEO and founder was publicity and communicate with people and share this idea, and of course invite new mentor to our accelerator. And of course my strategy as a person who doesn't speak English at all was avoid absolutely everyone who want to communicate with me, ask something, or I don't know, some kind of engage with me. And I remember this first call, my friend Misha Makarov called me and said, Anya, I heard that you here in San Francisco with your 10 teams. And I said, yes, this is our first batch, our first startups. And he said, I need volunteers for tech conference. Can you help please with some organization processes? And I said, yes, of course we can help. And I have at least 10 people who can help you. I send you a list. And can you please tell me what is that conference? What is the name? I said, it's a TechCrunch. And he said, TechCrunch, this is TechCrunch, like 10, 15,000 people every year, TechCrunch, that ticket cost at least $1,000 for this conference. And he said, yes. I said, oh my gosh, we are so lucky. Of course we can help you. So all our teams works at TechCrunch 2 or 3 days, I don't remember. And so at the end of this story, it was like a culmination. Our guys supported VIP zone all night and navigate people in this VIP zone, and it was like VIP party. And next morning, my friend called me, and he was angry, and I asked, "What's up? What's going on? I think everything was good. We helped, and so what's wrong?" And he said, "You know what? That all your teams all this time was wearing in this hoodie with this Happy Farm name in the back and Happy Farm in the front, and all people, all sponsors thought that Happy Farm sponsor of this party and sponsor of this VIP zone and sponsor of this gala cocktail. Did you plan it?" And I said, "No, I swear I didn't." And I think, oh my gosh, you see, you always have to use all opportunities, because even, I don't know, if you cannot communicate, but you struggle and you need this publicity, God somehow helps you. And it was the great case how we didn't plan it, but everyone after this TechCrunch conference, no, what is a Happy Farm? Not about us. We met lots of cool people, companies, mentors, advisors who help us at the end. So it's a good story. Sorry if it's a little bit long.
Yeah, that's actually a fascinating story. I have some, even though I have a few questions of my own and still want to ask you, and the time is running quick, still I want to inject the questions that we have from girls in the audience. The first one is, what are your main traits that lead you to success? Well, personal traits we're talking about, right?
Well, it's always difficult to speak about myself because I'm biased, definitely. I think that for me, being curious is the most valuable personal trait, because this curiosity led me to first to career in finance, and then I started to learn. I'm always striving for learning new things and getting knowledge, meeting new people. I'm curious about other people's stories. I'm curious about new technologies, and the career I've made is kind of a result of the combination of those things that I learned along the way, and I would say that grit would be another one, because if you are persistent on the way to your goals, you would definitely succeed. Because and a little bit of luck, but it's not a personal trait, but you need it.
Yes, like Anya's luck with TechCrunch, right?
Yes, yes. This is this actually. I would say that Anya's story about Happy Farm and TechCrunch is an example of great strategic thinking, because this is
Subconscious, though.
yes.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Nina, what would be those traits for you?
Yeah, I would say it's three things. First, I would agree it's curiosity, right? So, like ongoing desire to learn something new, right? But it's like as Anna was mentioning before, it's not about trying to learn everything what is like your like tech world or investment world is dictating you that you need to know, but it's about what is you're actually really passionate about to learn, right? So this curiosity, finding new things, not like pushing yourself, but really do it because you want to do this. That's definitely supports you on the way to success, even though sometimes, right, you're going through the very challenging time, as Anna was like sharing with us before. The second one is ability to accept and be open to feedback. I think, especially as more senior you become as a leader, and especially as more as you're dealing with ambiguity within your either career or your own business, doesn't matter, right? You really need to be open to the feedback and be able as well to provide feedback back, right? Because feedback is something helping you to improve. But in the same time, it's very important not to get in the trap when you become a self-criticism to yourself, right? Where you're like always thinking, oh, okay, that feedback is actually like putting me 5 steps back, right? And so it's about acceptance. So the third one, it's about accepting who you are. There is always would be people who are more successful than you, more famous than you, have more clubhouse subscribers and followers than you, etc., etc., etc. Right? So that we all time living in this competitive world where you, as a ambition leader, trying to compare yourself. But I think what is really help you to sustain as a leader is accepting yourself, who you are within that moment, why you are here, and what actually your purpose and value. Right? So I would say those 3 steps, they're all very connected to each other, and right balance of those 3 parts is make you sustainable leader, not just a leader.
Anya, and for you, apart from great moods, right, and your attitude, what else is there?
So for me, like most important, first of all, of course, it's challenge, because for me, everything has to be challenging. The more like hard something and difficulty, the more interesting it is. And honestly, if something like, then more I hear no, for me, it's like a beginning of conversation. Because what means no? No, I'm busy right now. No, my boss is idiot. No, I fight with my husband. No, I have problems with my kid. Or no, I want to the toilet. So it means like no, at least we start this conversation. So everything have to be like, so if it's challenge, if it's not easy, if I need to do something, and I don't know, try approach to communicate with people or persuade people, it's interesting. So number 2, of course, it's passion that we discuss, and tenacity too, because you have to be able to open any doors, and not only open these doors, knock on these doors and open doors, but then answer why you're so sure that you can be great partner, or you can be great I don't know, like team member, or great client, etc. It's also like drives me. And bravery, I think. Yes,
Yeah.
bravery too.
That's definitely your trait and your strong side. Well, we have another question, and questions keep coming. So another one is, yeah, we got people interested. So the next
Good.
one is about your inspiration. Do you have historic people that inspire you?
Everyone
That's a
gets
good
silent.
question.
Yeah, right.
Historic people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say female role models, right? But Hannah, go first.
No, please.
I would yeah, history of course that's interesting question, but I would say there is definitely role models in the world, right? And that you're looking at, and to be honest, and to be very frank, very often I get inspired not by someone that is so far from me, but actually is someone who is super close. Like, you know, it's different female founders. I was listening to you ladies today, like you definitely great role models and inspiration, you know. So I don't think I kind of have like idols, right, or something like that within the history. Of course, there is amazing ladies, right? And if you think about, you know, those United Nations ambassadors, women who are supporting and having amazing mission for the Red Cross, like there is a couple of them, right, that we all know, and they definitely a big inspiration. But if you asking, like, you know, sometimes what motivates me or what helped me to go further or think about something, it's actually people who surrounding me. And I'm listening, like I just even listened Anna's story, and I have a one unanswered question within myself currently. And I listened to her story, and I was like, okay, that's what should I do. Not, I mean, like go to the TechCrunch and like put all my teeth in the goodies, but like the way how she was approaching the situation, etc. Right, and her story is inspired. Bring to me a couple ideas, you know. So it's about, I think, people who surrounded me. Yeah. Sorry
Yeah,
for not
may
bringing
something.
person.
Yeah, I like Nina's answer. And also, if we talk about myself, when I look at these successful people around me, sometimes maybe it's a bad reaction, but sometimes I'm so angry at myself because I ask, why are you sitting and don't do nothing? Anya, wake up, do something. Like, what's wrong with you? And for me, it's like, you know, some people do, I don't know, great conference, new project, smart education platform. And what I am doing right now, like nothing special. And for me, it's like, oh my gosh, I have to do something immediately right now. And other people inspiring me, not like successful stories about success, but some kind of really cool products or great teams. And yes, and other people. And people like who around us every time. It's not like some people like superstars or people who on Forbes. No, like real doers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely second that because you get inspiration in everyday life, meeting wonderful people, entrepreneurs, investors, scientists, politicians, even. But for me, like when we talk about success stories and role models, I try not to get into those discussions because I know that most of those stories they suffer from survivorship bias. And in many cases, people who did exactly the same thing, they actually failed, but their stories are unknown. And society tends to underestimate the factor of luck in those success stories. So that's why I prefer just to get inspiration from men and women like today's speakers, and of course you, Tatiana.
Thank you. Well, I guess we are approaching our last question of today, and I think, well, it's a special one also for me. It's like in a movie. You now have a time machine, and you have a chance to meet yourself 15 years ago. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Well, for me, I would say that the biggest piece of advice I would give to my 19 years old would be speak up and don't be afraid to become visible. Because I had a huge problem with imposter syndrome in the early years of my career, and I know that a lot of other women face this challenge, especially when they just start their professional path. So, and don't be afraid to reach out to people. getting advice from mentors, especially from those who have been through the similar situations as you are facing now, is super valuable. I think it's much more valuable than reading ton of business-related books.
Nina, what would you say to your younger self?
I would second one part what Hannah said in terms of imposter syndrome. I think like this is kind of major issue that many women facing, even the most strongest one, the most successful one, etc. I think if I would meet myself 15 years ago, I would probably would tell myself, don't look for acceptance. So, like a lot of women, especially those who grown in the families where, like, competitiveness is raised from the childhood, you're always trying to get the best result, look the best, do the best, and really afraid about failure. And when you start to facing this failure, it's very painful. And when you're doing something, you look around for acceptance, that people accept you, right? Accept your community, accept what you're saying, accept how you look, etc. So many of those things are actually really make leaders unhappy. And so if and that's something that I, even now in my early 30s, I'm still going through, like working on myself to, especially being in the very, I would say, man world ecosystem, not to look for acceptance, right? But just be self-aware and know what I'm doing, why I'm doing, and who I am. And so probably I would give this advice. I'm not sure if I would get this in my 15 years ago, that advice, because I'm still trying to coach myself not to do that, but definitely I would give that advice.
Anya, your advice?
Yeah, I think about this question, and it's great question, because I asked myself, and I think my advice will be for me, be more patient, especially with people who love you so much. Because when you working hard and you build your company, build your business, sometimes you're so impatient, and especially with people who loves you so much, and this is really bad. So your family, for example, your mom, your dad, sometimes your husband or your daughter, feel this pressure too, and you're impatient with them much more than with your team, with your staff, with your colleagues, with your partners. So I think that we have to be, if I will talk with myself, I would say, Anya, please be more like patient, more respectful, and give them more love.
Thank you. Those are great advices, and thank you very much for spending this hour with us in InnoHub. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did the same. And I hope our audience also enjoyed this conversation. Thank you very much, and hope to see you in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a good day. Thank you.